Okay, in our analogic version, um,
Okay.
because the other way wasn't working. So, today I have invited Maria Bueno to talk about what the situation is for female artists in minority communities in Spain, which is where we live. And she has been putting together a project for many months now called Healing, which we will be talking about as well. So, first of all, Maria Bueno, could you tell us a bit about yourself, who you are?
Yeah, as you say, my name is Maria Bueno. I'm a painter. I'm a Spanish artist, and because I work in my own artwork, and because I love working with other people in our group projects, that's why right now we are presenting this interesting and great project called Healing. Yes.
So, how long have you been working with the minority community? When did your interest start?
Okay, I will tell you that as a painter, I'm very interested in Latino art and African art as well. So the fact that I'm close to this kind of art manifestation, and the fact that I'm surrounded of people coming from these minorities, which permits me to exchange, to create spaces, contexts where we can share each other. Um, Permits me to focus in this kind of in these communities,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this one, because I consider them as a sort of families, in the field of art,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
So you are connected pictorially. No, your work reflects
Yes,
certain aspects in common with these cultures, and also what you're surrounded by. No, you're the neighborhood in which you live in Malaga is a very
some of my
multicultural.
friends, because I've been living and I've been traveling, but especially living abroad Spain. Yeah, I've been in these communities. I wasn't in these communities. We create a community finally. So because of the language, maybe with Latino communities, probably because I come from the south of Spain and we have a Mediterranean southern culture which is very present in my art, but in my life also. So art and life for me
Mm-hmm.
are work together, as a part of Maria Bueno. So and why women? Because I'm being raised in a matriarchal family, so I'm one of my main focus in art when I'm in group or in community art projects are women. So of course, women from Latino and Afro communities here in Spain.
Okay. Now with healing, you have created a community of artists
Mm-hmm.
to talk about the healing process. And how did you construct that community? What was in mind when you were putting together healing?
Uh-huh. Healing, because right now we are living through a very difficult moment with a lot of violence and aggressivity. Healing because according to these problems, uh, we talk Julia, who is the other curator, and I. She comes from the Afro Spanish community. We've been talking about that. What is healing for us as a person? What is healing for us as a community, especially for her as a part of the Afro community? And there is a very beautiful thing that connects women besides the particularities, differences, and difficulties of each community, which are the problems that all women have. So, in which point we try to focus in the way we can keep strong, the way we can keep being healthy for our peoples, for the communities, through the art. And that's why healing put in the center women from these communities who are more vulnerable, especially nowadays with the Black Lives Matter, with the aggressions, with racism, and how we can handle with all these things through the art.
Mm-hmm.
For me, there is a word called diversity that is very deep in myself as a person and as an artist. So of course that through this project and through diversity in art, because we don't have this diversity too much in the art context right now in Spain, we make a call to feminism, to racism, xenophobia, because we fight against that. We are pro feminism through this healing, grace to diversity.
In the following the line of the project I am in, which is has been curated by Ines Ruiz Artola from Poland. She's from Malaga, but she's living in Poland, so she's also in this transition culturally. I started this project on the 12th of October. Yeah, it's called Our Own Room within the project curation of Ines. And so I decided to link healing to the project I'm doing now, because I feel like in Virginia Woolf's Our Own Room, she talks about the room that a woman needs in order to create. And healing is a way of creating a room via community, which is what you are constructing all the time. No, so in order to have your own room as an artist, as a minority artist, or even a migrant artist, you need to create that web, no, those connections, that community. Do you feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
So
Totally. And I think that I can connect myself and in the way I do things, healing, because it is integrated by women artists, which function as a crossover. Healing is a crossover. I'm a crossover. You are a crossover. Julia is a crossover. We are making crossover with so many crossover inside, So I want to thank her for giving us the opportunity, and thank you, Christina, for the opportunity in order to talk about healing, about this little crossover that can be inside in a crossover bigger and bigger and bigger and a big crossover,
yeah.
who is the project you participate between Poland and Spain.
There are, I think, maybe 60 artists that will be participating in this project online, both Instagram and Facebook. So we will be on Facebook today. This video will be published today. And so I have to ask you to talk about my integration or my position within the exhibition as a white Latino, no? Because we were discussing earlier today Black women maybe not feeling Black enough, or maybe I don't feel Latino enough. How do we confront those issues?
I think that this is very interesting in the crossover or in the bridge. You women artists participating in this particular project called Healing. the same question. Do I look like, do I feel Colombian enough or Latino enough or African enough? Maybe we don't have to feel something in particular enough and make part of this crossover, because I understand, I mean, diversity is that, diversity is going further stereotypes. Of course, that I can think and I know that a Spanish person can look like an African or an Asian or it can be Muslim. Why not? And why not Colombian? I mean, finally, the ideas of a stereotype of nations concerning to the countries is a political idea in order to separate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And of course that the system is very patriarchal and wants to keep us separate. But according to that and being conscious about that, can we walk a little bit further? Can we see what it connects us? And hopefully we have the bridges,
Mm-hmm.
We have this crossover. We have maybe this no man's land, and we can bring this focus to the main focus. There is not only one point of view, there is not only one race, there is not only one type of person. There are so many, and I think that healing is an example of another point of view between this rich crystal of practice in art, in contemporary art,
Now you've had a strategy for this exhibition, which is that it will be online and as well as in a physical form. And your strategy has been to move away from the center, no, in order to find a different path, no, because the system sometimes blocks us and doesn't accept this kind of proposal, and so you found a different path for the exhibition. Can you tell us about the Rara art residency that you've chosen as a venue for healing?
Yeah, it is true that these COVID times have made people living in the city to move to the countryside, or putting the focus again in the countryside because of the nature and all these things, So according to bringing to the main center, other center, why not to choose a contemporary art and a residency space like a Rara, which is in the rural context, and more, we can say, in the south of Spain, which is not in Madrid or even Barcelona, So we are in the south, and even in the south, we are delocated, But even though this is, I think that is very coherent with this marginal practice that we are trying to put in the center as a more visible,
Mm-hmm. And of course, the name of the residency, Rara, comes from rara avis, no, which is out of the center, which I think is interesting as well. It's a space that has been founded by two artists, that live in the town. It used to be their home, and they've opened it for this artistic practice, Ciro Garcia and Veronica Ruth Frias. And I have just happened to move here, as you said, and there's many of us going to the countryside, to the rural setting. And so I'm lucky enough to have this art center, contemporary art home down the road. So for me, it's it's a very impressive introduction to the town that you have prepared for me, Maria Bueno. So I will be on the walls for my new neighbors, and that I think comes with responsibility, because I feel like I have to be a bridge now, a more obvious bridge, no, between the outside and what is in the town. As more and more artists come to this town, apparently, we have
Oh, yeah, yeah, I heard about that. So it's great.
a migration of.
Because I live not far away from you, so maybe, yeah, maybe I'm not moving, but yeah, yeah, there are. I think that sometimes, and I'm talking about on myself. Sometimes we feel sort of precarious because the situation is very precarious, especially for women, and more for women coming from non-hegemonic communities that are artists also. So I think that we have to consider there is no one way, only one way to think, to practice art. So this is what healing talks about also, even if we are talking about keeping ourselves sane, and protected one by the other, staying strong and together.
Yeah,
and women from these communities knows women from these communities know a lot. We have to learn. I have to learn so many things about that. You were talking about being a bridge in your new community, and I think that people from the community must function as a bridge also, because we are always in our comfort zone, and we have so many prejudices. So sometimes maybe I'm going to be aware, and I won't go to talk to another person if I'm white and the other person, for example, is black, because I don't know how to act, maybe, or the way I'm going to talk, the words I'm going to use. But this is an aspect that I feel engaged, and I need to not to resolve, but through art I love creating context of exchange and knowing artists and person and people coming from other communities, and of course the audience, because we really miss that.
And how do you think healing is going to connect with the people in the town of Villanueva del Rosario? What do you think the reaction?
First of all, because it's going to be a physical exhibition that takes place in this space, and as you say, there is no way, you have to be there because you are a neighbor, a new neighbor coming into town. So probably it's your responsibility to be there and to introduce yourself, or part of the team is going to do it. And Rara is very nice because it's a house, it's an art house, but it's a family space, So people come, people take the time, you take the time, we all take the time, and this is a great physical context where we take the time in order to know each other, to know the artist, to know where the person come from, to know who the person is, and so on. It's a feedback. Probably you will ask to the person, and this is the net, this is life. So the bridges are in movement all the time, but life and art, art according to the context. So if we are a diverse community, why don't we see that in the Spanish contemporary art? Because all the artists, Agnes Esonti, Bianca Ngema, Montserrat Anguiano, Nelida Takenanke, and Christina Sava, you in this case, you have wonderful artwork and you have a lot of projection, you have a curriculum, a background, a very strong, Beside all these things, you are great artists. So why don't I don't see you too much in the Spanish art context. If women are talking loud in order to claim for parity, for equality, we have to be open-minded and to think that women are not only looking like me, as a white person, that we have so many, that our context is very rich, it's very diverse. So this is what I'm trying to move on with me, with my practice, with my community art practice, and with the way I am, with the way I think.
Well, within any community, even if it's the larger feminist community, there has to be a way to live together, to coincide together, and to share a space. No, so dominating a space with white female artists isn't always the best way. We have to share that space. We have to share the spotlight or the focus, with other groups. So I think that it's interesting that you found a home, you found a home within Spain, an actual home for the project of healing, which is a very poetic way, to begin this project, because I believe you want it to grow, and you want it to be a traveling exhibition.
Yes. Little by little, we start Julia Cabrera, who is the other curator, Afro-descendant, Spanish art professional, and we've been working little by little, especially because we don't know physically each other, and we start exchanging, and little by little, we've been creating context like video call, like we are both of us right now, talking, and finally there is it's not a strategy. This is not the word, but it's it's not community. I mean, I forgot the word in English, but it's there is a trust, there is a respect, between both of us. So little by little, we've been involving the artists. We start with an online, in a very important platform, art platform here in Spain. Now, some countries in South America are talking or know about this project. And now we have the physical exhibition in a real space where we can talk face to face with the artists, and we can enjoy with the art. And why not? Maybe we will have a healing part 2 with other communities. We start with the Latino and the Afro-Spanish community, and why not more and more and more, little by little. If I can contribute to that as a woman artist, as a Spanish woman artist, there is no money that can pay that, because I feel engaged. This is my responsibility, not only creating my own art, but creating a net with my people, with artists. That's the way I see it.
Well, Maria Bueno, I would like to thank you for this wonderful conversation that we've had all day long, because we've been talking all day long, and this is just a small part of what we've been talking about today. But I think that it's been a great opportunity to listen to you and to hear the names of these women that, as you said, normally do not have a space or are not as visible. And hopefully we'll be seeing more of healing further along. When was the date of the inauguration of healing?
November 29th, which is a Sunday.
Yep.
You know, so Rara is like that because what a good plan, you know, to go to the countryside
On a Sunday.
to see, enjoy, and buy art. Why not?
Yeah.
Meeting the artists and the whole team and spending a great day
with family too.
Out of town, you know.
Yeah. So we'll be looking forward to that.
I'm so pleased and thank you so much for inviting me to this conversation. Thank you to the art platform taking place in Poland and yes, healing, fight against racism, xenophobia, so many ugly things very present nowadays in our society. So thank you one more time.
Thank you, Maria Bueno. Ciao. Adiós.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Hasta luego.
Chao.
Buen día. Gracias.
Adiós.